Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an Android plugin to integrate Android's camera and take photo and display that photo inside your Godot game or Godot app. So firstly I will show you guys an output. So here is my app. So I have one button called take photo. I will click on it, and as soon as I click on it, I have already given the camera permission at the time of me testing this tutorial, so it hasn't asked me for that camera permission. But if you are doing it for the very first time, it will ask you for the camera permission. I have already given it, and at the bottom you might see a take photo button. If I click on it, it captures a photo, saves the photo to our external storage, and here you see a black screen. I will let you know why we see this black screen. But here you can see once the photo is captured, it is displayed inside our Godot app or Godot game. Now there is one limitation, like you can't embed this camera screen inside your Godot screen. You have to create a separate screen in Android plugin called an activity. So that only is the disadvantage. Currently there is at least at the time of me recording, there is no way for Godot version 4 to embed an Android view inside your existing Godot screen. That's why I have to take this approach, and I think for camera it's fine. I don't know of any app which immediately opens the camera as soon as the app is launched. I think there might be few, but I don't think that would be a great use case. People would hate to see your camera as soon as the app is launched, so I think this is fine. So this is the output. Let's see how to do this. Firstly, make sure you open this documentation. I will be copying a lot of code from this documentation. For that I have created one cheat sheet of a sort, which helps me to know what exact steps I have to do. But yeah, let's get started. Now at the time of me recording this video, I am using Godot 4.3.0, but if there is any higher version, maybe you should use that. I think by the time you watch it, Godot 4.3.1 or 4.3.2 might be already available. So let's see. So first, obviously you need to have Android Studio. I'll just close everything just so that you have better clarity. Just create an Android project. It can be an empty views project, a Jetpack Compose project, doesn't really matter. Just create your project and wait for it. The Gradle syncing might take a little bit of time, so just be patient. Once the project is created, you will see something like this. You just have to right click, new, module, select Android library, give your library some name. I have given it as my library. So as you can see over here, I have already created this. That's why it is not allowing me to create it again, but you can name it whatever you feel like. Change the package name to whatever you feel like, and then just click on finish. Once you do that, the Gradle syncing might take a little bit of time, and you should see this particular folder called my library. Open that. Firstly you will have to go to Gradle scripts, go to build.gradle.kts, and I'm using a newer version of Android Studio, so that's why whenever you add a library, you have to write it something like this, and the actual name and the version number is present inside the file called version catalog. So libs.versions.toml. So firstly add this stuff, libs.godot. Okay, you just have to copy paste this. Then for integrating camera, I am using something called Camera X. So there are two APIs for Android for integrating camera. One is called Camera 2, second is Camera X. I think Camera X is a better option, but if you want much more advanced use case, you should use Camera 2. But Camera 2 is extremely complicated, at least for me. That's why I'm using Camera X. Camera X can do a lot of things for you. Even if you want to do some image analysis stuff, that is fine. So here again you can just add all these imports, just copy paste it. We need only this one and this 4. Okay, so yeah, just copy paste it, then go to libs.versions.toml, and here firstly you will have to add these two versions, Camera Core and Camera 2. At least at the time of me recording, the current stable version is 1.3.4, but if you are getting some higher version or Android Studio suggesting some higher version, use that. Same over here. Also, like I told you, I'm using Godot 4.3.0. that's why I'm using this particular version. If you want to check what is the latest stable version, you can go to Maven Central for that. Then we have to also write this 4 lines of code. Okay, so just copy paste it, and you will also need to write this particular line of code for including the Godot library. Once you do all that, just click on sync now. You might be seeing a sync now button over here. Just click on it. It will download all the Android dependencies for you, whatever we have included for Camera X and Godot. So these two are done. Then you will have to open your library. Firstly, go to Kotlin plus Java, open this folder. Now we have to create this camera activity. So for that, what you can do is just create on this particular folder, right click, new, activity, then select empty views activity, and here you have to name it as camera. You can name it whatever you feel like, but at least for now you can follow what I have done. Again, like I already have camera activity, that's why it is not allowing me to create it, but you won't face this issue. And here you might see something like activity underscore camera. Okay, so this is the layout file associated with the camera. Then you just have to click on finish, I guess. I'm not sure if there is any other step. I see this next button. I don't think we have to click on next. Just click on finish. Again, the Gradle sync might take little bit of time, but you should see something like this camera activity file being created. Then you have to create a Kotlin file called Godot Android plugin. To create a Kotlin file, just right click, new Kotlin class file, just name it as Godot Android plugin. Okay, then firstly, these are all the imports for my Godot Android plugin. So if you want, you can just copy paste it. And here firstly it takes this Godot and it extends from the Godot plugin. I have named the plugin as my plugin, but you can give it better name. Do remember this name because we will be using this in lot other places as well. There is something called request code as well. So from this Godot Android plugin, we will be launching this camera activity. Okay, so the photo will be captured inside our camera activity. Now once the photo has been captured and saved to external storage, we need the URI of or the file path of the saved photo back to Godot Android plugin. That's why we make use of this request code. So here you see that this particular method is annotated with @ used by Godot. So this will be called from the Godot side, and it will basically launch the camera activity. So here we are using start activity for result. So we are listening for result as soon as this camera activity sends us some result. So once the camera activity sends us some result like the image path, the callback will come over here. So we are checking the same request code which we send. We are checking it over here, and if the result is okay, then I am creating one dictionary. So and here I am creating this getting this image path from our camera activity. So this is how I'm getting the image path. So same key I will have to use inside my camera activity while sending the data. Now you don't need this toast message. If you want, you can comment this out. Then once we have the image URI, we have to construct a bitmap out of it. So I have created one method which I will show you shortly. Once we have the bitmap, we have to convert it to a byte array. So that's how we send data from Godot side, from a native Android side to Godot side. In last, like I have made another tutorials in which I was confused. Like I thought maybe we can't really send an image. So in my upload image to Firebase tutorial, as well as there was, I think, picking photos from Photos app Android plugin tutorial, I was converting image to base 64. I think that is a wrong approach. I mean, it works, but I think while performance wise it is not a great approach. So yeah, you should use byte array like I have done over here. And here I have just added one key to our dictionary. So I'm assigning that to our byte array, assigning that byte array to this particular dictionary, and this I'm using this emit signal to send data, to send this dictionary back to Godot side. Okay, and in case of request cancel, I'm just displaying a toast message. So this is the method to convert a bitmap to a byte array. And here we have to also override this particular method because we have to register this particular signal. So same key I'm using it over here as well. And this is the method to convert a file path to a bitmap. Okay, so this is done. Next I will go to our camera activity. So firstly you will have to go to res layout activity underscore camera.xml, and you should see this constraint layout bit already been created for you. If not, just create it. Okay, and make sure the id is main. Then firstly, for displaying a camera, we have to use the preview view. So that's what I'm doing. I'm occupying the entire width and height, and I have given it some identifier so that we can reference it inside our Kotlin file of camera activity. Same for our button as well. That's what I have done. Okay, I have given it some ID and it is at the very bottom. Now coming back to our camera activity, so first I'll show you guys the imports. So these are all the imports. I'll remove the dead imports which we don't need. Okay, so again, this is not required, this also not required, these are also not required. Okay, then here firstly we create a variable for image capture as well as executor service, and here is our camera view. So I have named it as viewfinder, and this is our button for capturing a photo. This is something called register for activity results. So when we request to the camera permission, and if all the permissions are granted, then only we will start the camera, otherwise we will display a toast message to the user. Okay, so we will be using this in a bit. And inside the on create, here you can see that we are referencing our layout file. So this is by default present. This might change in future versions of Android Studio. I have noticed that they keep changing this from time to time, but I don't think this would be a big issue. So here firstly we are creating our camera view and then our button, and on click of the button I have assigned one method. And here if the permission is already granted and you are launching the app for the second, third or fourth time, then we just check permissions granted and immediately start the camera, otherwise you request for permission. Here I create our camera executor. Then inside take photo we just check whether the image capture is initialized. If not, then just return back. Then here this is how I create the image. This is the name of the image, and this is how we saved it to external storage. So this is the entire code which I have just copy pasted it from documentation, and we get a JPEG image as you can see over here. And here then we just do dot take picture. So if the image, if there is any error, I am just displaying a log message, but you can do some better error handling than me. And if the image is saved properly, here again you don't really need this. I'm just using this to display it inside my toast message. Again, you can just comment this out, but as soon as the image is captured, I'm shutting down our camera. Then I'm creating an intent. So we need to send this URI or image path back to our Godot Android plugin, right? So that's what I'm doing it over here. And then this finish means close this particular activity. Now for starting the camera, we are creating a camera provider feature. Now again, I have just copy pasted this code. We really don't have to understand it. So yeah, you can just copy paste. This is how we show camera. Okay, here I'm showing the back camera, but if you want you can show the front camera as well. And here we have to bind the camera to the life cycle. That's what we are doing. This is for requesting the permission. So here, like I told you, we are using this activity result launcher, and this is just a helper method to check whether we have granted all the permissions or not. On destroy, we are just shutting down our camera. And here inside on here, this is a companion object, like just like we have static methods in Java. There is something called companion objects in Kotlin. So this is just helper sort of variables. Okay, so hopefully this is clear to you. Then what we'll have to do is we'll have to go to this manifest folder, go to Android manifest, and firstly you will have to you will see something like this. You won't see this metadata tag, but you should see this application tag, and you should see this activity already, code being already added for you. Then you will have to add this permission, because we require the camera as well as write external storage permission. Then you also need to add this theme. Make sure you add this theme to your application tag, otherwise you might feel you might get a crash when you try to run it from your Godot side. Then we have to add this metadata tag. Now this will be common for everyone. The only thing is this should be your plugin name. So in case you forgot what your plugin name is, so this is your plugin name. So just copy paste it over here. Now this is your package name. Again, if you forgot, just go over here, and here you can see your package name. Just copy paste it over here, and this is the file name. So Godot Android plugin. So in case if you have given it different name, change it over here as well. So that's it. Now you will have to go to the project drop down, and inside your library folder you have to create a folder called export scripts template. So just right click, new directory, name it as export scripts template. Firstly create plugin.cfg. Again, I have copy pasted this code from this documentation. So yeah, so only thing is this should be your plugin name. Rest everything you can change the author and description to whatever you feel like. This is important, don't change this name. So for this we again have to create a file. So in case if you don't know, just right click, new file. Okay, just name it as export_plugin.gd. Again for this, again the code has been copied from the documentation itself, so just go through the documentation. Okay, everything will remain the same. There are only two changes. Firstly, this again should be your own plugin name, and here you have to add this extra method called get android dependency. Now there are few dependency which we have to add to let Godot know that you need to install this dependency while building the APK or while running the Android app on our device. So given that we had created a separate activity for our camera, we have to add this Android X app compat dependency. Now how will I know this version? So it's pretty easy. You can just again go to, I will go to the project Android drop down, sorry, and here you can go to libs.versions.toml. so here you will see the app compat, whatever is the latest version, use that. For me it is 1.7.0, that's why I'm using 1.7.0 over here. Same thing will remain over here as well. Okay, then is we also require the Android X activity 1.9.1, so which you can see over here, so use that. Then is material dependency also we need, so just again over here, so for material it is 1.12.0, so that's what I'm using over here. And then I have added all the camera dependencies, so camera 2, as you can see, where is camera 2, so over here 1.3. so again you have to add all this camera core, camera view, camera lifestyle, so whatever version you have used, make sure you use the same version inside your export plugin.gd as well. So I have added this this as well as this, so same thing will remain for release mode as well. Okay, so up to here it should be clear for everyone. Okay, so I'll just go through my cheat sheet quickly in case if I haven't forgot anything. Okay, so everything is fine. Then what you will have to do is so this is my Android project, right? Ignore the Godot project for now. So this is my Android project. You will have to open your terminal and cd to this Android project. Once you cd to your Android project, you will have to run this particular command /gradlew assemble. Once you run this particular command, you would see two AR files being created for you. So go to your Android project, go to your library, build outputs AR, and here you should see two AR files. I have already cut pasted those files to my Godot project, that's why you are not seeing it over here. Okay, so here it should, here till here it should be fine for everyone. Then just create a Godot project. So I have just created one Godot project. Inside that you will have to go to project, install Android build template. As you can see, I have already installed it. If you are installing it for the first time, you will might have to download the Android template. Just click on download and then click on install. It will do everything for you. Then just go to project, export, and here you have to click on add, select Android. I have already selected it. At the bottom you might see some red lines with a fix import button. Just click on that fix import button over here, it might be available. Then select this use Gradle build option. Here inside architecture you will have to select what architecture your Android device is running on. If you don't know, select all four of this, it's fine. Okay, I think that should be it. We don't need to check any permissions over here because we have already specified inside the Android manifest. Then inside your project you will have to create a folder called add-ons. Then inside add-ons create a folder with your plugin name. I have already created it. Then inside that particular folder create a folder called bin, and inside bin create two folders, debug and release. And now firstly you will have to copy paste these two files outside the bin folder. So if you remember, we had created this export plugin.gd as well as plugin.cfg. so copy paste these two files inside the my plugin folder outside the bin folder. Okay, then what you will have to do, you will have to so inside your AR file, inside your Android project you would see two AR files, right? One for debug, one for release. You will have to copy the debug AR file to the debug folder, release AR file to the release folder. So I have already done that, which I will show you I'll show you now. So this is my Godot project, add-ons, my plugins, bin, and here you can see this is the debug AR file. Now you will have to change the name again to whatever is your plugin name. So whatever is your plugin name -debug.ar. Similarly you will have to do it for release, whatever is your plugin name -release.ar. All right, then So this is done. Then you'll have to go to project settings, go to plugins, and make sure you check this checkbox. Okay, also inside general, I will go to window. I have made the application as portrait, but yeah, if you want to change the orientation, then you might have to change the code over here as well. Like most of the camera app are portrait, so yeah. So here I have changed the width as well as the height, and here inside the orientation I have kept it as portrait. All right, next. So here inside the UI part, I have just taken one button as well as one texture rect, and if you see inside the texture rect, I have used the ignore size, okay, so that my image fits whatever texture rect size is. Then I have attached one script to it. I have attached the buttons press signal over here as well, as you can see. Then for your script, all you have to do is just create this texture rect, okay, and here I have created this. Again, this should be your plugin name. Here we are initializing our plugin and also registering our signal, so use the same name what you have used for signal on Android side. So on button pressed, I'm just calling this take photo method. Once we get the image like the byte buffer, we create a new image. We call load jpeg from image buffer, and here you can, as you know, I have used 0 as the key for my dictionary. That's what I'm using over here. So if there is no error, if you remember, I was getting a black screen in my output. The reason was because of this, like this rotation part takes little bit of time. If you know how to use background thread in GEDscript or in Godot, make sure you can use that for this particular thing, and then just set the image texture on the main thread. I don't know how to do that. Like I have tried rotating the image on Android side itself. I was facing a lot of issues. I couldn't really figure it out. Also the other issue is I don't understand, like I have captured the image in portrait mode inside my camera. My Godot screen is also in portrait mode, but why is it still getting rotated? Again, I don't know. That's because of this we are getting that black screen. Also the other reason is I am running in debug mode, so the performance would be a little bit bad. Maybe make sure you try it in release mode. And here again, we are, once the image is rotated, I am just displaying it inside our texture rect. So yeah, that's it. Now you can run your application on Android. There are few things which I want to highlight. I didn't face this issue, at least for Godot 4.3.0, but maybe you might if you are using some different version of Godot. The first is in previous version of Godot, we have to go to editor settings. So if I go to editor, I don't see an editor settings over here. Previously it was present. I don't know how they are getting this debug key path as well as Android HDK path. Previously we have to configure it by ourselves, but I don't know, they have removed the option. Maybe somehow they are getting it automatically from Android Studio. I'm not really sure, or maybe settings from Godot 4.2 has been carried over to Godot 4.3. I don't know. And also there was this one more issue which was part of Godot 4.2.3, which I didn't face in Godot 4.3.0, related to some Java mismatch or Java path not been found. So yeah, in case if you are getting something like that, you can check this issue. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.